There goes Sheenbeard. He's slip sliding away. Da 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 da. Sheenbeard Saga, part number 8. This is the finale episode. We're going to do parts 8 and 9. If you missed the previous parts, that link in the description. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. The mask cometh off, and so do his pants. Please, don't get too descriptive with that. I don't know if I can handle this today. Hello there, readers and listeners. Hi, Mother of Rain. Before we go anywhere with this part, I have to issue a warning. Oh, that's not good. There will be some explicit stuff in this one that I can't say this early in the video. Due to the unpleasant nature of this story, my writing may be a little less colorful than it usually is, but I promise to try and not make it too depressing. So let's get started with a little bit of a different cast list. Oh, done in poem. Look at this. What a masterwork. Sheenbeard, the cry of a goat, putrid with slime, pollutes your ears and steals your time. The oily sheen may hurt your eyes, but what can blind you are his lies. This is beautiful. A promised fate, a movie ending, hands devout to reality's bending. A foolish man or beast of prey, which wins out? I cannot say. Holy God, dude. You sent chills up my spine right now. That's beautiful. I'm sorry I can't butcher it in the song, but I think it stands on its own really well. We've also got Peach. Your spawn point has not been the best, but do hold on till you fly the nest. And though you get covered in gifts and bling, don't forget the beauty within. Kind of slant rhyme, but I'll allow it. The first one really slapped me in the face. You could get away with anything at this point. Mora, that's our OP. Though this ill girl has little to give, by soothing your wounds, I can learn to live. A bleeding heart with a bruised mind, counterbalance the pain, let my spirit be kind. I feel my cage, I can see the bars. I'll fight my way free and touch the stars. God, another banger, Jesus! We are off to such a strong start. I'm loving everything. The artistry in the ReddX community is just unparalleled. I will put my community up against any other YouTuber's community in the world, all right? One ReddX Industries employee guy could take down like 10,000 Mr. Beast 12-year-olds, right? We're just gonna have to start working out a little bit. Let's get ready for the war, boys and girls. And so here we are. I know this is a story about Sheenbeard, but in order for things in this part to make sense, I'll have to talk about my history. As humans, we are a complex result of our experiences and biological qualities. In my case, my genetics, temperament, and overall personality meshed poorly with my circumstances and surroundings, so I hope that you can forgive me for the trauma dump. You've earned it. You waited all the way up until almost the last part. You have won the hearts and minds. Do what you gotta do, OP. I had actually originally written 2 whole pages about this, but let's keep it short and less soul-crushingly detailed for all of your sakes. I mean, I do appreciate that, OP, but recognize that my platform is your platform and you're welcome to say whatever you feel you need to say, all right? Due to the combined efforts of a self-centered, if not malicious, mother, a horrible stepfather, bad serotonin genetics, and my mild temperament, I've spent up to 15 years dealing with crippling depression. I kept putting off escaping, in quotes, you know what that means, because there was always someone that I had to help, and I couldn't be so selfish as to leave them alone. Sheen was not one of these people for me, however. I felt worthless, and I put all my own feelings on hold for the benefit of others. An extremely unhealthy lesson that I learned when I was only a small child. God, I see this a lot. My own wife is a martyr just like this. I'm like, just let it go. Put down the baggage. You don't have to pick up everybody's baggage. You're one person. Let it go. I was the target of a whole lot of schmexual maltreatment and assault by a few of my peers from when I was 12 years old until on into my late teens. The complete lack of adult intervention and the consistent repetition normalized this for me in a very unhealthy way. At first, I fought people off of me and tried to defend myself, but by 18, I just stood there and did nothing. I felt nothing. If someone groped me, I'd just check out mentally and wait for it to end. Nobody talked about my maltreatment when I was a kid, and despite being a grown-up now and knowing more than I'd like to about the topic, I only connected the dots between this knowledge and the events during my teenage years about 2 years ago. I think the fact that the perpetrators were other kids made it so hard to realize just what it was. I'm working through my own trauma bit by bit. I've learned to set boundaries and reclaimed my body as my own. Yeah, we go through some dark times, but I'm glad that you're finding your happy ending. Now that you know all of this, I think you have enough perspective to understand why some of my responses to Sheen have been healthy and clear, but at the same time, I still put up with his presence in my life. I could always muster strength to help others, but I couldn't rally that for myself because I found myself irrelevant. You are very much not irrelevant, OP. You're making your impact on the world. Even if it's just through, the people that listen to these stories or hanging out with us in the Discord, which that link is in the description if you want. I think you are a wonderful soul, and I'm very glad we're friends. All right, then, let's get down to the event that would end the friendship between Sheenbeard and I permanently. It happened a few years ago on an early Sunday morning. I had woken up from one of my usual nightmares and couldn't calm my pulse enough to fall back asleep. My body was in fight or flight mode, and I was far too full of adrenaline to believe that we were, in fact, safe. Nothing to do but wait it out and distract myself. So I browsed the internet to chase away the phantom memories left behind by the bad dream. And as most of these stories begin, I heard that insistent "Bab." Before we read Sheen's message to me, I'll clue you in on a little secret. Sheenbeard is not actually a man of capital lettering, punctuation, or proper spelling. To spare you from losing IQ points to the process of trying to decipher what the grease goblin's nostril miners managed to type out, I have so far taken the liberty of altering his gibberish into a more readable format. This time, however, I will expose your temporal lobes to his actual writing style. Oh god, didn't we get enough with my immortal? I hope you have some painkillers at hand. Right then, here we go. I opened his message. Sheen, Bora, I bust you. God damn it. It never ends. The ride just never ends. OP says, yeah, well, hug to you. Sheen, yeah. Come have a drink with thee and celebrate. There were a couple more typos than usual in Sheen's writing. OP says, are you drunk? Sheen, what? Me? Bever.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Sheen then proceeded to call me. He was not only drunk as a fish, but also high as a kite. I know that many people seek both of these states recreationally, but unfortunately in my life, both alcohol and other substances have caused death and carnage among family or friends. Because of these losses, I'm not able to view either of these activities as fun, but I rather see them as dangerous. I won't chastise someone for spending their time and money in the way that they wish, as long as it's legal, but people who aren't fully in charge of themselves and thus unpredictable make me uncomfortable and incredibly worried about their safety. I'm gonna agree with everything you said right now with the addendum, smoke weed every day. Anyway, Sheen continues on. Bora, I am so lonely. Why is there a hyphen there? OP says, I really hope Peach isn't there with you being in that state. Sheen, no, she's with her mom. I'm so lonely, Bora. You should come drink with me. Are you stuttering through text? And I noticed that the writing has suddenly gotten a lot better. Once we firmly establish the fact that yes, he's indeed drunk. He doesn't need to overact. Which if there's one thing we know about Sheen, he's an overactor. OP says, I don't do getting drunk, Sheen. Sheen, but I'm so horny. OP, excuse me? Time to disconnect the call, block, whatever you gotta do. It's time to go. This part I am incredibly uncomfortable with. Sheen was suddenly making a drunken move on me, and I was absolutely not interested. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the internet. You're drunk, I'll unblock you tomorrow. Bye. I had already made it clear that I was not into him. I told him as much in gentle terms, so as not to upset his very messed up self. He then started to make commentary on going out to look for someone to drown his loneliness into, and this is where I got scared for him. I told him that going out in his current state was not a good idea, and I said that he should just go to sleep. He kept crying about his loneliness and going on about how horny he was. Dude, let's deal with the loneliness first. How about that? It was at this point that OP snaps at him to just wank it before bed or something and to not be an idiot. It's good advice for life, honestly. He then proceeded to insist that I sit with him as he does it. No! I was not comfortable with this. Still, my fear for his safety, oh my god, you're gonna do it? Combined with the history of my boundaries consistently getting ground up into little specks of sand, kept me from cussing him out and hanging up. Dude, oh god. You're never gonna do this again, right? Tell me at least we've learned a lesson from this experience. Honestly, considering all I'd gone through by that point in my life, sitting in my room while a drunken idiot fondles himself on another continent was gross and uncomfortable, but the lesser evil to what was in my mind was a chance for a little child to lose her dad in some sort of drunken accident. I told him to just get it over with and go to sleep so he wouldn't hurt his dumb ass by drunk driving. So, Sheen started to work on himself. I don't remember much of the process. My mind shut down much like it normally did when I was being touched against my will. Yeah, but this is touching inside your brain. It's so different. I hate it. I think he talked to me like a wanker, and I responded with an occasional uh-huh or something. Then he said something that snapped my attention back to this most uncomfortable situation. Sheen, you wanna see? OP? What? No! Oh my god, dude. Now this knowledge is in all of our minds! I wasn't ready for this today. Beware, description of little Sheen ahead. God. And there it was. Every woman's shared experience on the internet. A dick pic. Stubby, wrinkly, and absolutely disgusting. I hate it. The shaft, oh no, don't go into detail. The shaft looked inflamed and uncomfortably pink, and the mushroom head was an unhealthy shade of grayish purple. Yep, I'm dying inside. Thank you so much for that. The sack. Oh, the sack. Please, I just want it to be over. My mind's gonna shut this out too. The sack hung sad and malformed like a freshly emptied balloon. If it was freshly emptied, I don't know if we'd be having these problems. You kind of get that post-nut clarity. You're like, oh, that was a really dumb idea. Among such exhibits that I have, mostly involuntarily, thank you, internet strangers, ended up witnessing in my life, this one remains the foulest. That's probably why he got comfortable around you. So he could feel confident enough to do this, and then he'll ask you, is it nice? And start seeking compliments like he did, and it just makes me want to die. Please. It could well be used as the centerpiece of a repugnant coquet. I don't want to mention that either. I would not touch that puss-smeared seed wurst, even if I was paid to do so, unless that touching was to be done with a fully fueled up chainsaw whilst I get to wear a full-blown hazmat suit. Jesus. You're really painting a picture here. All I wanted was to hear Sheenbeard rap, you know? And now here we are, talking about mutilating his genitals with a chainsaw. I don't know how we got to this point. Did I take such a good look at it that night as to vividly remember this years later? Not quite. Although the general impression is one that I remembered better than I would ever like to. Sheen never had the decency to delete that image, and when I was looking through the chat history in order to refresh my memory on his rapper career, I was hit in the face for the second time in my life by his sad little sausage. Oh my god, dude. I'm so sorry I had to make you relive this. I appreciate you going back through the archives, but I don't know if it was fully worth it. They say misery loves company, so join me. And do excuse me as I go throw up. I guess I did make you have to relive it, so okay, I take this burden on board. I'm gonna help you carry this baggage around, alright? And so is everybody else who's listening, I guess. So, some serious dry heaving later. Okay, let's try and continue this. Yeah, try. Judging by the call history, this is where I hung up on him. I was appalled and pissed off. I might have been lacking in my ability to hold certain boundaries, but I had a clear policy on unsolicited pictures like that being completely unwelcome. That's right, zero tolerance. He rushed to call me back, and I gave him a speech on how what he did was unacceptable. Oh, my cock's gone right down. I wish I had a written record of that, because I know the rare occasion that I do get angry and give someone a proper verbal lashing is normally something that my friends like to grab a tub of popcorn for. Sadly, though, I remember little beyond my initial reaction and the disappointment in a quote-unquote friend of so many years treating me like so many men had before. That night, any respect that I had left for Sheen died. Or so I thought. Dude, he is just undying. I don't know why this keeps happening. Oh wait, yes I do. Please stop, OP. Zero tolerance means zero tolerance, okay? In truth, any respect that I had left for Sheen died the next day. Oh, good. When he wrote me and when I confronted him about his previous night's behavior. He acted like his actions were not a big deal at all. He thought it was perfectly normal and okay to send anyone a picture of his malformed dong. He just kept saying, why you gotta make it weird, OP? You made it weird. This is the results of your own actions. How can you not see? When I told him that I felt really uncomfortable with how he had pushed me into listening to him play with himself, he claimed that I must have enjoyed it. Better yet, he said that I had recorded the call. Honestly, I wish you did, just so years later you could be like, listen to this pig grunting into a microphone. Drunk and alone forever in his room. Why? Because apparently he recorded all his calls for court purposes. What state does he live in? I'm pretty sure that's illegal in almost every state except Nevada. I felt sick. Well and truly sick. Was that recording like some kind of twisted trophy for him? Somehow I managed to get a reluctant, sorry out of him. He don't mean that. He don't mean that. It's time to pack it in. It's time to move on. Last chance is last chance, OP. Hold the goddamn line. I hung up, and I seriously wanted to block him for good. Do it. Should have done so. Do it! Just do it! As a cherry on top, he then sent a link to GoFundMe where he was trying to raise money to, quote, keep his daughter safe. Bro, are you ransoming your own kids right now? What are you even talking about? I don't know if that was his attempt to manipulate me into staying around. I don't know if he has the brain power for such guile. Nonetheless, I wrote my thoughts out to him after the link was sent to me. OP said, Sheenbeard, I'm honestly tired of being your I'm bored go-to gal. You clearly don't respect me, nor value my friendship enough to not put it in jeopardy by trying to get some drunken phone sex for yourself. Not to mention, the picture. Getting an apology from you was like pulling teeth and was definitely the least sincere, most sarcastic one that I have heard since my cousin was 14. I never, ever expected you to treat me this shittily, and frankly, considered telling you to screw off for good. I still contend should have done it. You've given me yet another reason to despise the color pink, and you feel tempted to act again like what you did was not a big deal. 6 other male accounts on the matter say otherwise. My friends were all rather disgusted, but no amount of disgust that they feel can match up to how sick to my stomach I feel. In addition, you have the guts to come to me and ask me for more favors with this link? Are you fucking kidding me? The only reason I put up with you at all is for Peach. Get it? Really well worded and authentic feelings dump, but as far as him getting it, no, I don't think that's gonna happen. But this is the first step towards the block button for those that don't use it immediately, so I don't know. Let's continue the process. Sheen retorts and says, well, one, I said sorry, and two, the link is for Peach and not me. Oh, really? Whose bank accounts are getting paid out to? I rarely ever have free time to be bored and lonely, and that's basic when I contact people, so it's nothing personal. So don't take that the wrong way, please. Also, why your friends know, lol. There's just so much deflection here. You should take up fencing, you know? OP says, because you called me earlier about last night while I was playing with them, and I had to disappear on them to take your call. I told them because, they're my friends, because we support each other, and I was feeling seriously unwell. I'm around you at all because Peach needs someone sane in her corner. I thought that as long as you don't downright abuse me, okay, it's fine, but I have had enough. You sexually harassed me, and that is where I draw the line. You could have started off with an apology when you woke up, but no. Why you gotta make it weird, Moira? It could have been fun. Go fuck yourself, Sheenbeard. And then you blocked him, right? Just burn all bridges, no more contact ever. From this point onward, I no longer considered Sheenbeard a friend, and along with my friendship, he lost all privileges that had come with it. I kept the channel unblocked so that I could mine Peach every once in a while, but never again would I waste my energy on being nice to Sheen. I directed my full verbal talent into giving him a piece of my mind every time he was being a moron, and I was not shy about calling him out for being a delusional, irresponsible idiot. Yeah, but even that is still wasting your energy. Don't do it. He just craves the attention, good or bad. Later, the disgusting lard mug tried to make another move on me and asked for nudes from me right after showing pictures to me about his new model girlfriend with whom he intended to start a family. Yeah, you're gonna want to reverse image search that one. I told him that he was being disrespectful and degrading toward both me and her, and that his morals were complete trash, which we already knew, but apparently he doesn't know. Sheen said that he was helping with her kids' medical bills and they were gonna go halvesies on a baby. Yeah, that's how babies work. We'll just split it. King Solomon out here. During this same conversation, he was trying to invite me to their future wedding. That's totally gonna happen, yeah. I respectfully declined that invitation. It's not like I was fond of the idea of spending $2,000 to $3,000 on attending Sheenbeard's wedding anyway, but I definitely didn't think that I could attend and not tell the bride that her future husband tried to get nudes from me 15 minutes before inviting me to their hypothetical wedding. Dude, this is so far. I don't know how we got this far beyond the pale. He just continues descending. You really don't think it's possible, and then, yep, there he goes. Sheen got indignant, and I called him a slimy asshole. This upset him enough that a few days later, he sent me a dramatic message. Sheen, after 11 crazy years, this come with a heavy heart, but I no longer wish to be friends. It was fun, and I love you, but goodbye, OP. Take care, and be well. Don't even respond. Please just block him. Okay, we're not friends? Good. Cut the cord. I understand for the kid and stuff like that, but come on. You can't save that kid. You can hardly save yourself. And I mean that with all the respect in the world. I don't think that he just expected me to say, okay, and delete him from my friends. I'm free. I'm free.
I'm free. I'm free. Dang it.
I love that response. That's beautiful. Not even 2 weeks later, he messaged me again asking why I deleted him. God dang it! OP, you said you don't want to be friends. That's why. Sheen, I was gonna take a break from talking to each other, but I would still want to see pictures that you post her. You see pics of me and Peach to know we're okay, and you're okay, you know, still alive. Your syntax is just awful. I don't even care to decode it. Then he went on to say how he's on a downward spiral because life is very hard on him and he needs a support system and yada yada yada. Yeah, you do need a support system, but the one that you had, you abused and it left. What is difficult to understand there? I simply said, I wish you luck, and left it at that. He could still write to me if Peach was in trouble, but I saw no reason to even pretend anymore that we were still friends. In hindsight, how did he even notice that I unadded him? He must have tried to snoop on my profile. I hadn't and have still not posted anything in years. Why was that guy still trying to look at my things over there? He did say he still wanted to see my pictures. Oh God, I don't feel so good. Facebook wank session is the creepiest wank session. Anyway, I ignored Sheen for the next 2 years from there onward. We've had maybe 2 exchanges since then, and I will share the Sheen stupidity in them with you in the next part, along with the rest of the Sheen-nanigans that I unearthed while trying to make sense of some of the messages that he spammed me with. Thank you if you made it through this part. It is a very uncomfortable reminder for me about how messed up I used to be and how much work I still have left to do in order to bend myself into shape. Writing this out is helpful, I think, even if straining. Until next time, look after yourselves and remember to drink enough water. Mother of Rain. The wildest of rides that we have been on recently. I definitely feel super sorry that this experience happened to you, OP, but, you know, at least it made you realize some things. We're all works in progress, you know? Nobody should stop learning and growing as a human being. As for bending yourself into shape, yeah, do that as much as you can, but eventually you will need help along the way. And that is when I would recommend talking to a licensed medical professional, not a bunch of Discord weirdos. And I say that with all the love, even including my own Discord weirdos, okay? I guess we'll continue onward, see if we can wrap Sheenbeard today, and I'm looking forward to the final fallout. So let's do it. Sheen Saga Part 9 Finale. Hey, if you haven't liked or subscribed on the video yet, maybe consider doing that, since you seem to be enjoying the content. Thank you so much. The only Sheen in the world. If only that were true. It is time. The final part of the Sheen Saga. I've been wrestling with myself over this one for a few days now. I feel that I've poured a lot of myself into Part 8, and I worry that in comparison, the finale might end up falling flat. So let us approach this rather as a sizable epilogue rather than a grand finale. Oh, then you gotta change the title. Oh wait, you can't do that on Reddit. I will also forego writing a cast list this time, as each member will go through an extensive character analysis in the end. Speaking of cast lists, I would have loved to read the poems for you and sent the audio files over to ReddX, but the risk of someone recognizing my voice feels too daunting at this point. I hope the man himself gives a good performance. I will be judging. Oh, I hope it's up to your standards. All right, enough of the writing warm-up. It's time to wrap this thing up. After the events of Part 8, things could never go back to the way they were. What trust I had in Sheen had been ripped apart, and there was no putting it back together. In my mind, I picture a torn fabric that's just too frayed up to be sewn. Every stitch only ends up creating more damage. I suppose it didn't help that Sheen's choice of thread varied between pretend it never happened and I didn't do anything wrong, it wasn't a big deal. I see no career as a seamstress in Sheen's future. Or a seamster. We gotta make it gender neutral, right? In my heart, I still had space left for Peach, so I promised myself to leave a minor channel open until she started school, and would then hopefully have access to a new support network through her teachers and friends. That's pretty big brain time, honestly. Start the timer for 0 hour no contact. let us observe the last of Sheen's attempts to reel me back in. 2 years had passed since the day that Sheen threw his friendship is over dramatics, and the first quarter of 2022 was nearly through. Out of the blue, the Beards account suddenly sent me 3 very strange pictures. They were screenshots of Twitter posts. I will alter the content of the posts a little to ensure that nobody finds Sheen on Google, but it stays true to the original formatting. It's too late, the YouTube detectives are already on their way. Screenshot 1. Strange thing happens in cryptoverse where mice cause trouble on blockchain. When looking into it, someone is watching, but how? Check in next week for raffle. What? Under the text, there were over 10 hashtags that were all just as incomprehensible to me as the text preceding them, and a horribly photoshopped image of a cartoon mouse over a nature photograph. He's gone crypto bro now? What the hell? This is high quality schizo posting, okay? I'm pretty sure that's what Twitter's for. I'm gonna do more of this. Screenshot 2. While mouse looks into trouble, hashtag nutty mice kingdom causes to cryptoverse something else is also causing issues. 12 hashtags and more poorly hand-drawn unidentifiable characters. This time in space? I feel like I'm having a stroke. I don't know what's happening right now. It's total flashbacks to my immortal. Or any of the 4chan green text stories, but even those are slightly more legible. Screenshot 3. Mouse was not able to find the cause of trouble and decided to take hashtag trip to find wizard. He told the issue was hidden, but a ghost could help him find it. But it's protected. Stay tuned to see our hero. A battalion of hashtags and the same cartoon mouse from the first screenshot accompanied some mushrooms. Dude, is this like choose your own adventure? I'm so confused. I stared at the pictures for a minute, trying to make sense of them. The poor writing and the borderline psychedelic imagery left me nothing but confusion. Eventually I responded with a single sentence. No! You've been lured back in! OP says, hey, were you hacked or something? Sheen, Mo. OP, Mo? Sheen, no. OP, are you high? Sheen, what? No. Why would you assume that? Because you're extra incoherent today. OP says, sending pictures about a mouse who looks like they snorted the whole South American annual Coke production with no context, and then writing Mo with no further explanation? Sheen, I was showing you the little mini story that Peach and I are making. Oh, he's gonna be a children's book author now. Great. OP, and how am I supposed to guess that that's what it was? Sheen, well, you're supposed to know because I shared it with you. My forehead made quick contact with the table. This is definitely his desperate way of just prying the door open one last time. OP says, so you mean to tell me that just from random screenshots, I should have been immediately able to discern that this is a story that you are writing with Peach? Sheen, I was just sharing our little story with you. Jeez. OP, all right. I just thought it looked strange. Thank you for clarifying. Sheen, writing short stories is strange. See, look at him with the righteous indignation trying to pull the door open a little bit further. Nah, slam it shut on his fingers if need be. I had hoped to cut the whole conversation here, but Sheen's persistent stupidity, which I'm pretty sure is an act at this point, drew me down to his level for a moment, and I tried to reason with him. Have we not learned throughout all of this? Please tell me we've learned. OP says, Sheen, they were screenshots of a post with no capital letters and no punctuation, accompanied by imagery that looks rather psychedelic. Oh, this is a short story, was not the first thought that jumped into my head. Sheen, we're making stories to promote NFT projects. Oh God. NFT projects we're a part of, and add a little entertainment. Is this what the GoFundMe was for? He got $50 and decided to buy some randomly generated rhinoceros picture. I hate it. Now, OP says, I had no idea whatsoever what NFT was, and as my interlude of idiocy was now over, I moved on to closing the conversation again. OP, cool. I could only tell that they were someone's Twitter posts. Sheen, but they were posted by me, lol. The username has Sheen in it. The username was honestly a mess of many words haphazardly strung together, but maybe if the posts themselves hadn't been so utterly distracting, I could have guessed at the owner's account. However, I started feeling petty and decided to throw his logic back into his face. Just disengage. Don't even feel petty. You're expending valuable energy right now, okay? But I guess this is before, like, the end. Are we still in epilogue territory? I don't think so. These are his desperate attempts to worm his way back in. OP says, yeah, but you do know you're not the only Sheen in the world, right? Sheen? Actually, I am, lol. I check. OP? You checked. Sheen? Oh, well, I haven't checked in the last 2 years, but I was the only Sheen for most of my life. There are Sheener and O'Shen. Sheen. I'm pretty sure Sheen, Shein, is like a knockoff clothing company. But go off, I guess. Who cares anymore? OP says, I could feel my eye twitching. This boastful, bloated bleb was being serious. I didn't know other Sheens, but I felt confident in his name being far from unique. After everything I'd endured from Sheenbeard, I wanted to bite back, to cause discomfort by taking away this source of misplaced pride from him, and in my petty annoyance, I went straight to babynames.com and wrote his name into the search bar. Bingo! His name had an easily traceable European origin, and while Sheen didn't make the top 100 list in his homeland, across the pond, he was far from being the only willy wanker, schlong shaker, cock clutcher, shaft scratcher, weenie whirler, prick plucker, gland groper, dong dangler to carry that name. That list is beautiful. We gotta use this one later. I slapped the link into our chat, and for good measure, we went on to hit Google. His name was found both as a first and last name on more wiki articles than I was willing to dedicate time into counting, and this shut Sheen up. I don't even want to call him Sheen anymore. I want to call him Willy Wanker, Schlong Shaker, Cock Clutcher, Shaft Scratcher, Weenie Whirler, Prick Plucker, Gland Groper, Dong Dangler. I'm gonna get that tattooed somewhere.
No regrets.
Somewhere that I could cover up with the t-shirt, hopefully. This slice of gross grease would no longer be able to continue aggrandizing himself as the only Sheen in the world. But to be honest, my triumph over this tiny victory died within seconds. I knew that ultimately my efforts of slimming down Sheenbeard's plus-sized ego with facts would be as futile as any attempts to rinse away a liter of spilled fryer grease with water. I paused. I didn't like behaving in this petty way. Taking pleasures in others' misery was not, and still isn't, a part of my personality. My growing disdain towards Sheen was starting to take on characteristics that I did not wish to welcome onto my list of traits. I ran a quick calculation in my head. Maybe I didn't need to be subjected to this presence for much longer. Yeah, the block button's right there. But if you want to scheme, I guess we could scheme. OP says, hey, is Peach attending school yet? Sheen said, next year. She's with her mother now, and they're not seeing eye to eye. She a daddy girl. OP, I hope she has a fantastic time at school. May she have many, many friends. I felt a small pull at the corners of my mouth. A surge of pictures appeared on my screen. Peach was smiling at me from each photograph. She looked happy and healthy, even if quite small. In one of the photos, Peach was standing next to a girl her age. They were supposedly the shortest and tallest in their kindergarten class. The height difference was only a head and a half if I looked at the taller girl, but 2 full heads if I used the proportions of Peach's head. Wow, that's some complicated math there, but yeah, I get you. That's definitely a tiny kid. I think she might be slightly malnourished. Sheen spent too much money on diamond bracelets instead of stuff like, you know, food. Some of you mentioned FASD under the part in which I brought up with Peach's mother, for those who might have missed the earlier installments of the saga, her drinking habits. And after reading them, I remembered this picture. It spurred me to look up a list of FASD symptoms, and shorter than average height and a small head are both listed. This increased my concerns, and I spent an afternoon studying the syndrome, as well as the photos that Sheen had sent me over the years. A magnifying glass might have been used. I can't spot any clear indicators of fetal alcohol syndrome disorder on Peach's face, and her head does look proportionate to her stature. I remember Sheen mentioning that his mother was also very short, so this is probably just genetic. With all the admittedly limited understanding that I have, there's no cause for panic or further concern. I was surprised by the size difference between the girls back in 2022 as well, but at the time, Sheen interrupted my thoughts by starting to ask for a picture of me. No, we're not opening that door. Thanks for the pictures. I'm glad she's alive. Let me know when she starts school so I can block you forever. Sheen, any recent pics of you? OP, you know me. I'm as camera shy as ever. Sheen, can take a selfie for me? I want to see how you have developed over the years. I hate that. OP says, still camera shy. Sheen, it's just me and Peach. I won't show anyone else. OP, it's not a person that I'm avoidant of. It is the camera. Sheen, crying emoji. OP, you'll live. I love this. Brush him off. He don't deserve nothing, no way, no how. Sheen sent me a photo of him wearing a white wife beater on his person and a sad expression on his face. In his hand was a half-empty bottle of beer. I suppose he was hoping to trade pictures, but that got him nowhere. I was not the kind of person anymore that you could pressure into anything. There you go, taking the power back. You love to see it. 2 weeks later, he tried again. His opener was to try and pull me into VR chat. Wow, that sounds even worse than anything that we've ever done before. No, thank you. I don't think I'm gonna do that ever. I told him it's not my kind of space. Not that I have VR equipment anyways, to which he immediately responded by asking me for a selfie. You can go on VR chat without VR equipment, but yeah, I don't know why you would to hang out with Sheen. And it obviously doesn't mean that much to him, as much as that elusive picture of OP. OP, look, I don't feel like taking one, okay? I look the same as ever. Sheen, you always say that. OP, it's always true. Sheen then posts a picture of himself lying in bed, face greased up and shadowed by another sulky expression. He was probably attempting a smolder. I look shoddy today, but I still take one, lol. I want to see how you changed over years growing up. You're so weird and creepy and I hate this. Please. Are you guys feeling exasperated yet? Absolutely. I definitely was. I repeated that I disliked taking pictures of myself. This is actually true, by the way. I take on an occasional minor acting job, but when I'm posing as a character in front of the camera, my discomfort goes away. After all, they're not photos of me, but of whoever I'm pretending to be. Sinking into a character makes me feel free and fearless, but I digress. Sheen will never see another photo of me in his life, so long as it is up to me. I do kind of get that. I shift into different characters for like Dayton Dye's channel. Mr. and Mrs. ReddX is probably the closest to me. And then ReddX, yeah, that's also a character. So I do get what you're talking about. Aside from one more Sheen photo dump, that was the last exchange of messages that Sheen and I ever had. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Nani baka, nani baka. I decided to deny and he responds to his visual vomit and lived happily, Sheen-free, until I started writing this saga and had to dig through some history in order to write things as accurately as possible. During my memory refreshments, I also ended up doing some brief internet stalking to share with you the current Sheenanigans, TM. To give you a quick summary, I learned what NFTs are, and that Sheenbeard is extremely into them. Yeah, dude, just hold on to it. It'll retain some value eventually. His Twitter is full of raffles and posts and nonsense about NFTs. He has like maybe 2 to 4 likes and a couple of comments on his posts here and there. I dare doubt that this makes him some crypto NFT millionaire. If anything, looking at the kinds of things that he seems to promote and collect solidifies a belief that I held of him all these years. Sheen has no taste. He still seems to be chasing rainbows, although now these rainbows look like they've been mixed together with every mushroom known to man indiscriminately and smoked up in one batch in just a single go. I mean, I'm into crypto. I've been on the bandwagon for a while. But NFTs? Nah, dude. I'm not paying that much for a monkey JPEG. That's like objectively garbage. I have made a bit of money on crypto even, but the golden age is definitely over, okay? I'm still hodling until it spikes back up, but yeah, don't ever buy NFTs. Why would you do that? OP continues. I am looking at my notes and it seems like I've written down almost everything. All that remains is to take a look at the characters in the story and say goodbye to them. Some fond farewells, some not so much. I'll try not to ramble on about them too much, so let's start with Rose, my friend, Sheenbeard's ex, and the person who introduced me to this slimy shroom boy all of those years ago. I'd almost forgotten about Rose. Rose is doing a lot better than she was back in the day. Nice. She still has an occasional lapse in her judgment of character, but she is gaining a lot of much-needed confidence. I'm very proud of her, and doing my best as her honorary big sister to give her a good balance of support and tough love when it's needed. It's a hard line to walk. I try and do the same thing. Sometimes I think I lean a bit too much into tough love. Apparently, I've also promised to be a bridesmaid in her future wedding. Is that one totally gonna happen? We don't know! I'm a little scared to see what she'll want me to wear. We do not share the same taste in colors at all, but for her, I'll do it. With Sheen's ex-fiance and Peach's mother is a mystery to me. She still shares custody of Peach with Sheenbeard and apparently keeps him at arm's length. I think a small part of Sheen still pines after her, though. I don't know if she continued stripping and entertaining men, but I hope she's acquired a job that holds fewer health risks for her health and for Peach's well-being. Who would go work in an in-person club anyways, when like campsites and OnlyFans are right over— never mind, I'm not giving tips. Peach herself seems to be a regular, lively schoolgirl. Her height does worry me a tiny bit, but I'm sure that being a part of several interactions outside of her home will help ensure her safety in the future. Takes a village. I haven't spoke with her in depth since our playtime, so I don't know much about her psychological state, but things look good from my non-existent vantage point. As this story finally ends, I am letting go of my self-imposed duty to watch over her from afar. I truly do wish her happiness and security in life. I think that's a good way to deal. There are people closer to the situation that are far better equipped, and I'm sure the kids will be alright, you know? Obviously, Sheen can't pull anybody out, including himself, but the kid, she's gotta learn some vital life skills. She might have to learn them the hard way, but I don't know, what can you do? As for Sheenbeard, I have now written 9 parts of his saga and gone over every memory that I have of him in a relatively short period of time. When all the nonsense and irritation that was spread across several years was condensed into only a few months, it really was hard to understand how I ever put up with Sheen. Truth of the fact is, though, that the interactions that I had with him were mostly just infrequent enough that I forgot how annoying he was until the next time he came around to give me a headache. Also, his misdeeds are now clearer in hindsight. I know more and am actually a grown woman, and not a teenager stumbling her way through life. Whether Sheen is actually malicious or evil or just contagiously stupid and overall harmful is still a question that I have no definitive answer for. He clearly ends up with women who are weak, broken, or otherwise vulnerable, but I don't know for sure if he specifically targets them to manipulate them or if he just has some savior complex. Glancing at his socials, it seems he's lately been mostly involved with immigrant women. Perhaps one of them will get a green card out of him. How does Sheen make me feel nowadays? Tired. Honestly, he just makes me feel exasperated and exhausted. He is not a great nor intelligent person. I hope he's grown into at least a quarter of a decent father. Half seems optimistic. I just don't think that Sheenbeard is an individual that you generally want in your life at all. I've chosen not to chew him out one last time and will instead leave quietly and spare myself the aggravation. Goodbye, Sheenbeard. That's the right way to go. You get no more energy than what you've already taken from me. I don't want to believe that he's malicious and evil. I do want to think he has some savior complex, but I'm just not sure. A lot of the expats and, people from other countries that are seeking a foreign wife are doing so for the wrong reasons, and I really don't hope that of Sheenbeard. It is heavily implied throughout the story, but for my own sake, I'm just gonna believe that that's all gonna go fine and normal. But yes, goodbye, Sheenbeard, and good fucking riddance. As for me, OP, Mora, Rain, whichever you prefer, I've changed a lot over the years chronicled in this saga. I've always turned my pain and sadness into kindness in order to endure the things that I went through. God, I love that. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You're a beautiful human being, okay? The fear of becoming someone selfish and self-centered plagued me, and I did all I could to stomp out putting my needs first. I thought that even though I couldn't make myself happy, I could make my life count for something by bringing happiness to others. Somewhat how the YouTube video making started, if I'm really thinking back. Truth be told, guys, I wasn't expecting to be here this long, but I'm glad I still am. And we're glad that you still are. After over 13 years of hard work, my depression has finally taken a turn for the better. I'm not mentioning this to flaunt my mental health around. I just hope that if someone out there is reading this, hearing this, and is going through the struggles that just don't seem to end, do not give up. It might take a really long time, even an unreasonably long time, but as long as you keep trying, there is at least a chance for improvement. Even when you're hopeless, go on. Continue anyways. I'm glad that I did. I've got my own horror story about all this. I still think my mental health isn't 100%, but yeah, compared to where we were 10 years ago, light years of difference, bro. And I'm glad things are getting better for you. Even if the dark times roll around again, hang in. You're stronger than you think that you are. When I started getting better, I took on the hard lesson of cutting some people out of my life. In the past, I had just accepted abuse and even blackmail thrown towards me on the regular, kept my mouth shut about it in order to protect the perpetrators. It was high time that I walked away from such sources of stress, pain, and fear. Of course, some did not take kindly to me wishing them calm goodbyes, and even resorted to threatening my life, causing a whole different kind of fear. I'm trying to not let that control my life and live the best way that I know how. I still dedicate time to helping people, but this time, I have a healthy boundary system in place, and so far, it has served me well. I'm surrounding myself with people who are kind and supportive, and every bit worth the effort that I want to put into reminding them of how cherished they are. One of my friends actually shipped me a box of homemade cookies last week, just because. God, I love that. That same friend is also the #1 fan of the Sheen saga, so it was nice to tell them how the power of their cookies got me through writing the first 4 pages of the finale. Hey, teamwork makes the dream work. Shouts out to Cookie Friend. Since I'm crediting people for all the nice things they've done here, I want to thank Luna, Guinevere, and Pan for being amazing influences in my life. I'll keep working hard to be the best version of myself that I want to be. Thank you also to ReddX for reading these stories on his channel and for inspiring me to start writing Neckbeard content. It's been therapeutic, and rediscovering the joy of creative writing after 15 years has been wonderful. Thank you all for reading, for listening, for accompanying me on this journey in whatever format you chose. Thank you. I still have quite a few beards to talk about, but I will have to think about what and how to write about them for a while. I don't know when I'll return with more tales, but I'm definitely planning to do so eventually. Wistfully, I bid you farewell, at least for the time being. Until we meet again, look after yourselves and each other, Mother of Rain. I am sad to see the saga go, but I think we closed the book on it rather well. Good job, OP. I will wait patiently with bated breath for your next story, but yes, do take all the time that you need. I'm sorry that this took a lot out of you. That's not my intention at all. I hope that I can give something back to you through my reading of the tale, because all the people who write sagas, they really are like the driving force behind the channel. I couldn't do it without you, and I'm completely serious. Let's go ahead and wrap up Sheenbeard Saga with a song of some sort. That's generally what we do at the end of sagas, isn't it? She told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna be your girlfriend, you're a gross neckbeard. Asked her out again, but she still won't come near. So beat it, just beat it. Now you sit there, you're alone in your room. No lady there who will make you coom. You unzip your pants, there's only one thing to do. So beat it. You need to coom bad, just beat it. Beat it, stroke it till your seed's depleted. Show 'em how funky and strong is your nut. Wish you could put it inside her butt. Just beat it, just beat it, just beat it, just beat it. Ugh, it's smelling cheesy as you nut in your sock. Maybe you could woo her if you wash your cock. But you just scoff and say that's all schlock, so beat it, just beat it. You have to show her you're the alpha male, but playing with your balls, crying it's unfair. She ran away when you said how much you care, so beat it. You need to coom bad, so beat it, beat it. Stroke it till your seed's depleted. Show 'em how funky, strong is your nut. Wish I could dump it inside her butt. Just beat it, beat it. Stroke it till your seed's depleted. Show 'em how funky, strong is your nut. Wish you could put it inside her butt. Just beat it. Beautifully done, most wonderful, tip of the hat, not a fedora to user Ramtide as always, user Mother of Rain. Thank you guys so much for coming together, creating a beautiful saga. We've made some beautiful music together, haven't we? And I just appreciate you guys being here, supporting the channel like you do. Come on back, see what's next. It's gonna be crazy, probably. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. If you enjoyed the video, let me know what you thought. Maybe share the video around, the playlist around, the first part around, something like that. Thank you so much in advance. I have many social medias. If you'd like to follow me on one of those, you are most welcome to do so. We've also got my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members, but I'm supposed to thank them today. We're gonna kick the can down the road a little bit. I'm sorry, I love you so much. If you'd like to join them, that's huge. If you can't, that's no sweat. Just come on back, check out what we're doing tomorrow. Keep yourself safe, wash your hands, and always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.